Going live. I am live. Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful sunny day, isn't it? Yeah, so I have my glasses on today because I woke up yesterday and I had this really bad spot on my eye. Some of you, I sent a picture, but I really think that's kind of gross when people show pictures like that. So I don't think it's really that bad. I did some classes without the glasses, but I went out yesterday and I bought some glasses. And some of you may have seen my pictures, but I'm going to suggest that everyone has a pair of sunglasses handy just in case. You never know what kind of problems that you might face in class. And it actually worked out well last night because I could, I had this, I was like, can the student see my eye? Like I was so self-conscious, I couldn't stand it. And every time the kid went like this, I was like, oh, he sees my eye and he thinks it's disgusting. And what am I supposed to do? They don't know what I'm saying. It was just a really weird feeling. Hello, Danny. Hello, Marianne. And thank you, Mindy, for being first. So I'm just explaining that I woke up yesterday morning. My first class was at 6 a.m., which is kind of late. And so I was just kind of like checking my Facebook. I was laying in bed and stuff. And then I came in my room and I have a mirror off to the side and I started to put on my makeup and I saw this really red spot on my eye. And I think what it is a broken blood vessel. I don't know how it happened. I was doing a lot of lifting. Like I was doing some cleaning out. I was, stacking some wood, doing some yard work. I went to the dump. I don't really think I did anything unusual, but I ended up with this really bad spot on my eye and it doesn't hurt. I'm not sick. I'm not like, I don't know how it happened. But I didn't notice it until right before my class and I didn't have any sunglasses. So I'm suggesting to you that you would get some sunglasses. So I got these at the dollar store. I got these at Walmart. My kids said these are really freaky. And so it was so funny because one of my classes that I did yesterday morning, the kid had glasses with hearts. You may have seen the pictures with glasses with hearts. And then I also have these. So I am going to make a suggestion. You know, we learn from each other, right? I wore these quite a bit today, and I wore my hamburger hat. This worked out great for put on because I said, put on the glasses. I am putting on the hat. And it worked out great. I mean, it went along with the lesson. It didn't look like I was trying to get away with something. And some of the older kids, you might be able to explain it, but some of the younger kids, you're like, they're never going to know what I'm talking about. So they'll just think it's part of the game, right? So I wore these most of the day today. So I think I kind of like these for YouTube, and I kind of liked these for class with the hamburger hat. And so I think the kids were fine with it. And I think when I went back to watch the playback, I don't think you could really tell, but I feel like it was more like I was self-conscious. You must have strained hard when you were doing all of the lifting. Yeah, that's what people said on. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming. And so I was just really glad to find these at dollar store. I would have liked this part to not be quite so dark, but it's all they had. I was trying to find, I loved the ones Evelyn had, the red hearts with the red, because I felt like it wasn't so dark. But honestly, this is really good for your eyes too. My eyes don't feel quite so strained at the end of classes. I am not one to really like sunglasses at all, ever. But I do wear glasses for far away, and I don't really like sunglasses at all. But I can see close up, which is good. Some people, if you have reading glasses, you wouldn't be able to wear them. But you could always use the AR stickers. Yeah, I thought of that too, but it's kind of distracting. and I would go in and out with it. So I just figured this was going to be more comfortable for me because I don't really use the AR stickers like all the time. Yeah, so Evelyn had it really bad. I felt so bad for her when she had it. So I remembered that she had it, but I've never had that problem. But I just wanted to suggest to everyone to get yourself a pair of sunglasses just in case. $1 at the dollar store and you're all set. I had detached retina surgery. Ooh, and had to wear an eye patch. Oh, cool. Yeah, there you go. You were a pirate. Yeah, I am wearing sunglasses because I woke up yesterday with a really bad red spot on my eye. And so I've just you might not be able to even see it that much, but I just think it's really I don't know. I'm self-conscious about it, so I just figured I would wear the glasses today because it's spring and it's so sunny out. Yeah, I was going to show you. It's actually snowing here right now. Do you understand? It is snowing here. It is ridiculous. I actually showed my students the snow today. So here's a picture. You can see my plants, and that white in the background is snow. And obviously, it's not going to stay. And it was, oh, hello, Michelle. Nice to see you here. Thank you for coming. She lives not too far from here. So, do you guys have snow? Yeah. Our Six Apple Club has those blue. I saw that. How much are they? Do you know? Because I know Zenny Optical. I could probably get a pair through them also. But I don't really need glasses for close up, so I just would need like the clear Blu-ray glasses, and I might consider that because I'm after doing wearing these all day today. My eyes feel so much better. Not that I know of. Really? I woke up to snow. During the night I could hear rain, so I thought, "Okay, of course it's not gonna snow." But then when I woke up, so these are my plants. I'm gonna make another video that shows my plants in progress. And I'm telling you, we had some really nice warm weather, and I really wanted to plant some of these plants. But it's so cold right now. I don't even want to put them outside. But I did plant some strawberry plants and some what do you call it? Basil and parsley. Please pray for my family. My kids and I are a little sick. I have a sore throat. Esther has a sore throat. Deborah, Caleb, and Joshy. We're a bit warm. Okay. Okay, we'll keep you in prayer. I've been thinking of you because I mean that's the first thing I looked up was is there I know I've heard of something to do with eyes with the COVID-19, and so I looked that up right away. Is this COVID? Could I have because I had Lyme's disease and I had all of the red spots but I had no other symptoms, so I thought maybe I have COVID, but um hopefully not. I didn't see anything like that. Yeah, I'm gonna do an update of my plants. I've taken a few pictures. I was thinking I might do it this afternoon. That's why I took some pictures of the plants with the snow. My grandfather, he lived in the next town over like most of his life up until he was in his 80s. And he always said, wait till Memorial Day to plant. And he said, some people get excited, they get a warm day, they plant before Memorial Day, and then they get a frost or something happens and it kills all their plants. So I'm trying to go by that advice, but it's been hard because we've had some really warm days and you're like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. But that's the way it is up here. You can get a cold day and then you can get a hot day and then you can get a really cold day. So, yeah. So I wanted to ask you, how were your classes? Now, my classes are going very well. I am not like open a slot, they all come rushing in. But I'm fully booked as much as I can possibly do. And like yesterday, I usually do 5 to 6 on weekdays in the mornings, and I had 2 cancellations. And when I woke up with this eye problem, I was so thankful that I had the cancellations, because I'm like, I'm pushing myself. So at first I was going to keep them open short notice, and then I closed them out. And then then in night I had 3 classes and 2 canceled. One was a regular that I always teach Friday night, and I think they're moving because he was at his grandfather's house, and now with school they're moving. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're getting cancellations, they're getting ready for school to start. Sometimes they're moving from one place to the other, and traveling, or maybe visiting people before they get, into the school routine. So I think that's what's going on right now, is some of them are going back to school. Evelyn, I saw your video right before this this live, and I listened to it, and I did give you some advice. I like to put into, when I see parents that are doing things that, we don't really expect, like they're too hard on the kids. I always say, sometimes teachers ask students to get a piece of paper and a pen in order to do the lesson, something like that. I try to make it as simple as possible without, long sentences. I make really succinct sentences, but sometimes a teacher asks student to get pencil and paper, something like that. I've done it before. I've asked my students to get paper. I'll do drawing rewards sometimes, and I think what you were doing was fine, but yeah. Bad VIP kid overlord clause. Please do not sign up again. VIPKID shop deceives customers. Interesting. What? Wow. I don't understand that. Teacher Casey. Overlord clause. But then the last one was horrible tags. It felt so good to sleep in today. Oh, I see. Bad VIPKID. Wow. Huh. Wow, Casey. I don't know what you're saying there. I'm interested. Let me get the wording. I'm going back up toward the top, Casey. I don't see. I got 3 parents' feedbacks from the same parent from November to December, all 1 apples with bad things about VIPKID. Wow. They did give me negative tags. Wow. That's terrible. Well, the thing is, if you get 3 or less, you can get invalidated. And so they can go back and they can review your video, which is nice. And so they might invalidate it, because they're not allowed to give you VIPKID, a company, bad apples because of the company. So hopefully those can get invalidated. Parents are mad about the VIPKID raising the prices. Oh, yeah. 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 So they probably will invalidate it if your lesson itself was good. Like, I got a 3 apple, and it said right in the thing she didn't give a reward, but I did. And I watched the whole video, and I'm like, I did everything according to VIPKID standards. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I wasn't as, animated as some people, but there was nothing wrong with it, and they did invalidate it. The only bad part is it stays on your thing, even though it might get taken from your percentage. But I think if it was long enough ago, it's not going to affect your percentage, because the percentage is only the last 100. Low energy reward system issue, student output. Wow. Wow. Well, that'll knock you down a few pegs, Casey. Oh my goodness. When I got my first, 4 apple, and then I got 2, 3 apples from the same parent, and I was so down. Like, it ruined my entire day. And my husband's like, okay, well, you're not perfect. Move on. I mean, it's hard, and it's not really reflection of you. If they're not happy with the company, then there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. And they, hopefully VIPKID will understand and help you out with that. Like I said, they can go watch the video and it's all, they don't have to take the parent's word for it. So I wanted to tell you with all of that, happy Teachers Week. I hope you guys had a great week. And I want to tell you, Casey Morrow, she had a really good video just thanking teachers for all they do. And I want to thank you guys for being such good friends and for helping and encouraging. And that's a part of VIPKID that I never expected. You've heard me say that before. But, I was just looking at trying to make a few extra dollars, and I didn't realize the teacher community that I would find. And it's been great. It's been really great. VIPKID sent me 4 videos: energy up, reward system, error correction. That's going to be standard. You know that too, Casey. That's what they're doing now. They did that to teacher Kristen. They probably have a standard. If this happens, send this. If this happens, send that. It's easier for them than to respond it personally, because they probably get a lot of things they need to do and they make it quick. And try not to take it personally, Casey. We know you. We know you're awesome. And you are awesome. Yeah. So we know you. I've never seen you low energy personally. I mean, come on. So, and sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes you have to be low energy. Like some kids, I had a kid today that was like, my word. One time I actually told a kid, he needs to do the work because I'm going to fall asleep if he doesn't. So I'm sitting there patiently waiting for them to answer, and he's not answering. And I'm like, teacher's going to fall asleep if you don't get going. So, yeah. So thank you everyone for your hard work and for your example and your just amazingness all the way around. This is not an easy job. It is hard work. I mean, it's fun, but it is work. Today, I think I worked. I really think I worked. The classes did not fly by today. So, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so I can't imagine teacher Casey's low energy, but I think that and two, when I got the low apples, I went back and I tried to keep an open mind. I had my notebook and I was going to take notes, and I'm like, there wasn't anything in there that would warrant the parents' comments. So I felt totally justified to send back the information. And if people are not happy with VIPKID, they're going to do what they can to make it known. So happy Mother's Day. Yeah, that's my next comment. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Meredith. Hello, Oh, you're driving. Awesome. This is actually an exhausting job. Yeah, it is much fun at the same time. Yeah, it's fun. And some of my students, like the classes fly by because you connect with them and you feel like, wow, that class just flew by because the kid is giving as much as you're giving. But sometimes you have to just give, 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 and that student is just like pulling from you, and it makes a long 25 minutes. I did a Starlight trial this morning. Was just really, really hard. The student couldn't turn on the camera. This is the very first time in all of my VIPKID career that I have gotten this symbol. It had no camera. So I'm assuming that means that the student had no camera, like the student couldn't turn on the camera. I've never seen that before. And I did ask, can you turn on the camera? I did not call the firemen because I was like, all they do is switch lines, and that doesn't always help. So, have any of you gotten that symbol where you've got just a no camera symbol? So I went on with the lesson. I never saw the student the entire class. The student could not read. And even though it was the Starlight trial, it was like a continuing story. Even though we read the whole thing and went back and reread it, she still couldn't remember words like volcano. Like the she couldn't even remember the words. So it was really, really hard. And I stopped. I'm like, if it's the Starlight trials, you're allowed to stop at 20 to 25 minutes. And I'm like, if I get to 20 and I'm done, I'm done. But I ended up going to like 23 and I was like, goodbye. I mean, she seemed like a sweet kid. Like, I don't think I was mad at her or acted, like I didn't like it or anything. But when I was done, I was like, I'm done. So, yeah. So it was hard. I just assumed that she didn't open her camera and that was that. So, my next thing I wanted to say, oh, yeah, Luann, I made this with just watercolors. I just kind of took the idea. Cindy Pummer had a bunch of different templates that she had looked up online and she emailed them to me and she said she would email them to anyone who wants them. So when she sent those to me, I took a few of them, but then I did my own little thing. And I had like a little pattern for the stars and a pattern for the apples. And then I kind of did some of it my freehand and just kind of put it together. And I'm kind of known for changing my background quite a bit. So, yeah, so I'm itching. But I really liked working on this. It was kind of just really fun to just go through and I'm not really a painter, but it was just a fun little thing to do during this wonderful time that we're having. So I wanted to say happy Mother's Day to all of my friends out there. Is everyone here a mother? I think Candy is still waiting. Is everyone else here? Well, everyone has a mother. Maybe you want to be a mother, or maybe you have mothers that you appreciate in your life. And I wanted to share with you someone that has meant a lot to me through the years is a woman named Elizabeth Elliot, which many of you may know that name. Elizabeth Elliot she has gone on to be with the Lord now, but down through the years, she has been someone that I have referred to many times. She she was a missionary to Ecuador, and she and her husband Jim Elliot have quite a story, and they have books. She has books about like when they were courting and the dating experience and different things like that. She has his journals. He kept journals, and she was a linguist and she was a majorly smart person, knew several languages, and she went to Ecuador to translate the Bible into the Ecuadorian language. And yeah, she's an amazing author. She was on the radio and on the computer, for all through the years when she came back from Ecuador. But her husband was killed by the Aka Indians, and she continued the work. She and some other ladies continued the work. They actually were able to see some of the killers come to know the Lord. And actually, recently in the news, one of the last people from that original time has since passed away. And he was known to come to the Lord, and he also was known to share the gospel with many other in Ecuador as well. Yeah. I think I could come up with reading curriculum fairly easily since I'm a reading specialist. Yeah. I'm not going to do the reading thing. I'm not doing any curriculum comprising. So I just wanted to read a few quotes by Elizabeth Elliot, because Elizabeth Elliot was someone that I referred to a lot, and she just challenged me a lot in my spiritual walk, also as a mother. Just so many things about her. Like I had printed originally I read her books. Then when she was online, I printed everything that she talked about. She was just an amazing speaker. She had the most comforting voice. She only actually had one child of her own between her and her husband, but I think she was married. Um, he was killed very young. Their daughter was like 2, I think. And then she was single for like 10 years. Then she came back to the States for her daughter to go to school, and she met another man and was married for several years. And then he passed away. He died of cancer. Then she was married again, and then and all very godly men. And then she passed away within the last few years, I believe. Oh, awesome, Danny. So she has a lot of things because she herself, they chose to go to Ecuador, to a very difficult place. They wanted to reach the unreached, and they knew that the Aka Indians were killers, but they wanted to befriend them, and they wanted to tell them about the Lord. And so if you go to there was a movie made about them. What was it called? The End of the Spear, something like that. I did not watch it because I felt like I knew these people, and I couldn't watch a movie about them at the end of the spear. I mean, it's bad enough to read about it. I couldn't watch it. I felt like I've read so much of her stuff that I felt like she is my friend, and I just couldn't watch it. So I never did watch that movie, but they did make a movie about it. Nate Saint, he was a airline pilot, and he was part of the whole mission and everything, and he was killed too. So Elizabeth Elliot knew about hard things. She knew about what it was like to live having to forgive, having to trust God in the worst of situations. And so she has a lot of really good things to say. One of the things that I found was something that she said, and I'm talking to you as women, as teachers, as mothers, as people living through this unprecedented, whatever it is, quarantine. And so, yeah, Elizabeth, okay, she died in 2015. Okay. So she says, this hard place in which you perhaps find yourself is the very place in which God is giving you. Now, this is going to make me cry because I take this personally, because it is hard. What we're going through is hard. And, it makes me cry because she's right, and I don't get it sometimes. But this is the opportunity to look only to Him, to spend time in prayer, to learn long suffering, gentleness, meekness, in short, to learn the depths of the love that Christ Himself has poured out on all of us. And, that's for us all the time, not just when times are good. Thank you. But, I haven't read of Elizabeth Elliot in a while. She's just so, so good. She's so good. She's so meaningful. Now, one of the things that I've always read about her, and I found a quote, and here's another one. Oh God, I confess I'm not worthy to rock this little baby. So as a mother, I'm not worthy to rock this little baby or wash its diapers or to be entrusted with the care of a child and its mother. How is that? How is it that I, without any merit, have come to this distinction of being certain that I am serving thy creature and thy most precious will? Oh, how gladly will I do so, though the duty should be even more insignificant and despised. Neither frost nor heat, neither drudgery nor labor will distress me, for I am certain that it is thus pleasing in thy sight. So, we as mothers, we're giving an opportunity to serve God by serving our kids. And that is something to remember, and it's not regarded in this world. Thank you, guys. It's not regarded in this world, being a mother. I've been a mother of 13 kids. It is not regarded as a good thing in this world. It's so sad. Through the years, my kids have heard so many negative comments, and it's so sad. But they have each other now, and nobody can take that away. Sometimes life is so hard, you can only do the next thing. Whatever that is, just do the next thing. God will meet you there. And that is what I thought of, when I wanted to challenge the moms for Mother's Day, is Elizabeth Elliot always talks about do the next thing. And that is her, like, if you want to bring it all down in a nutshell, that is her, do the next thing. And, we don't know what the future is going to be. We can't fix the past. We can't change our circumstances. Um, you know, your teenage kids don't appreciate you either. Can't wait till they're adults and appreciate me again. I know. It's so sad. I I could tell you stuff, but I don't want to. I don't like to besmirch my kids, but I don't like to come across as, oh, everything's great, everything's perfect. If you just do everything right, your kids are going to be perfect and you're going to be happy and everybody's, yeah, it's not. It's hard. It's very hard. And you have to do it. Sometimes you have to do it as to the Lord, even though you don't get a response from your kids that you would want and they don't appreciate you like they should. You do it because it's the right thing to do, and you trust God that he sees what's going on and he knows what you're going through and he will give you what you need. I just found out last night that my best friend's cervical cancer is growing and it doesn't look good. She's a single mother. Oh my goodness. So sorry, Amy Lou. Yeah, those things are so hard. Cindy, I think motherhood is the hardest and the most, yes, it is. It is the hardest and most important job. Um, so I found this quote, but I don't know. The problem is it's on the background of this really weird picture. I'm trying to see if I found a better one. I was looking up to put with that. I was looking up how many people have died of COVID and how many people have killed babies through abortion. And that's pretty sad if you look that up. And then I saw that, well, abortions, people choose it. And the COVID is something that you get without choosing. And I'm like, isn't it worse to kill someone and choose to kill someone than it is to accidentally get a virus, that nobody gave you on purpose? So that's, I just wish that we could influence the young girls more, that God has a purpose for their child and abortion isn't God's way. So, this is the whole poem about do the next thing. At an old English parsonage down by the sea, there came in the twilight a message to me. Its quaint Saxon legend deeply engraven, that as it seems to me, teaching from heaven, and all through the hours, the quiet words ring like a low inspiration, do the next thing. Many a questioning, many a fear, many a doubt hath its quieting here. Moment by moment, let love from heaven, time, opportunity, guidance are given. Fear not tomorrow, child of the King. Trust that with Jesus, do the next thing. Do it immediately, do it with prayer, do it reliantly, casting all care. Do it with reverence, trading his hand, who placed it before thee with earnest command. Stayed on omnipotence, safe neath his wing, leave all resulting, do the next thing. Looking to Jesus, ever serener, working or suffering be thy demeanor. In his dear presence, the rest of his calm, the light of his countenance, be thy psalm. Do the next thing. So that's my encouragement to you, is that mothers are awesome, mothers are great, and you can just do the next thing. Not a good subject to approach. Okay, abortion is not an easy decision. My friend was kidnapped and held. Oh my goodness. Sorry, adoptive parents rant. My oldest is adopted and her birth mother was so brave. Not a good subject. Yeah. Well, um, it's a hard subject. It is a hard subject, but if you know anyone who I found out, somebody that I knew found out when he was 20 years old that he was the result of a rape, and he didn't realize it until he was 20 years old. And his brother told him. And it turned out that it was his mother was actually his sister, and his parents were his grandparents. And so he found out that he was raped, and that all this time his sister was as an actual mother, and she had been raped by a family friend. He's one of the nicest men I've ever met. He's one of the most kindest, generous, loving, hardworking people. And he's probably he was a pastor for a while. He recently retired, and he still helps people. Even during this time, he takes care of his wife, who is basically housebound. And so, it's hard to say. I don't know why that would happen. Like, why would God allow something really bad like that to happen? But yeah, there are people. My daughter helps people that are in crisis pregnancies, and she tries to save them from trouble, and she's there for them every day. If they choose life, she will be there for them, and there are a lot of people like that. So it's a hard thing. It's a really hard thing. And if it were that only the people that actually got raped and had an abortion, if that was the only time it ever happened, abortions would be very few. Unfortunately, that's a very small percentage of the amount of abortions that are actually occurring. And I don't even know all the statistics. I told my daughter says that it's really high for even married couples to have abortions. So, yeah. I could tell you more stories, but this is live on YouTube, so it's kind of not like a place for private talk. But I'm just saying there are situations that are horrible, and God can always bring out good. It is what Cindy read in her scripture. Okay. Okay, less than 2%. So, like I said, I know a person who I did not know this about this person. I thought, why is he always so like overly kind to this down and out person? Like, it's almost like he was kinder to the people that I thought were annoying. This is in a like a supposed to be spiritual situation, and I'm thinking these people are annoying, but so that shows how kind I am. But I realized once I heard his story, I realized he's looking at the hurting people. He's looking at, well, this kid, his father took off on him, or this kid has this bad family situation. I want to be there for that person. He had a loving heart beyond normal people because of what he'd been through himself. And he ended up making terms with the whole thing, and he ended up calling they were his actual grandparents, but he still called them mom and dad. He's like, they're still my mom and dad. They've been my mom and dad my whole life. They're my mom and dad. And he's like, I'm not calling this other woman my mother because she didn't raise me. But he wasn't mad at anyone. And he actually knew his birth father, who was basically a bad person. And he said he actually showed love to him and showed him Christ before he died. I don't know how all that worked out, but he did share that, and he shared it publicly, so it's not like he shared it with me privately. He did share it in a public setting, so it's not like a private story. But I was amazed. I was amazed at the love, and because there were things that I was like kind of bitter about, and it nothing compared to that situation. And he says it's like, being bitter is no way to live. You can't live with bitterness. You've got to give it all over to God, and you've got to trust Him that He can make something good out of it. And I know that He has. I know He's a very loving person, and did not like spend a lot of years knowing this person, but I have heard a lot of people say really, really, really amazing and kind things about this person. So I know it's not just talk, it's the way he's lived. So happy Mother's Day. And being a mother is an amazing job, and God can help you. I'm telling you, having 13 children was not easy. And there were many tears and many, why me? How did you choose me to be the mother of all of these kids? But it is a matter of trusting God that He has a plan, and that He got me through it, and I'm still alive and able to enjoy life. With my husband losing his job, I'm thinking this way on to the next thing, do the next thing. Yes. And that's, I think, a really good advice for all of us right now. Okay, so I'm going to move on to tech issues. Okay, tech issues. I know Danny had some tech issues, so I am going to say tech issues. Number one, have two sources to get into class with. Now, if you do not have two sources right now, it doesn't mean you have to go out and buy two. I mean, I went with one for a really long time, but maybe like have a plan to eventually get a second something or other. Like even if it's borrowed, buy it from a friend. Just, keep your feelers open. Maybe you can get something inexpensive. I'm not saying go out and buy it new from the Apple store, but keep your feelers out and see if you can maybe have a little bit of money somewhere and buy an iPad from someone that's not using it, something like that. So have a plan. Yeah. And so then I would also say have two sources of power. Okay, now I don't really have two sources of power, but my strategy is to always keep everything charged. Keep everything charged up. Keep your iPad at 100%, keep your computer at 100%, keep a flashlight with good batteries nearby. And you can always run to your car if you have to, for lighting, because you can get in your car, open the door. I've done that before if it's nighttime, or you can run outside, which I did last Sunday. So let's see. Yeah, so my iPad saved me yesterday, also saved me today. It was really weird at the end of one of my classes. I had to do my first class today on my iPad. Can't remember why. My second class, at 24 minutes, all of a sudden my class froze and we weren't quite done yet. And I tried to go to my iPad, but my class would not open. It might have been after 25. But I wasn't quite finished yet. It was an assessment, and we were had two slides left and then say goodbye. It just froze. And it turned out my computer completely shut off, without warning. It just shut off and restarted. I have no idea why. And so I wasn't able to get on to that class, but I got on to the next class with my iPad and then went back to my computer when I had the 5 minutes to reboot everything. So having two is really, really, really important. Keep everything charged. Yeah. Okay. And then also, I'm buying a power surge protector that will hold about 15 minutes of power, so at least, yeah. So, like, we do have a generator, so my husband could go he could plug in the generator, he could get it all started, but that's gonna take at least 15 to 20 minutes, so I would lose a class if I had to rely. He did not try to get the generator on Sunday. I think he figured it was coming quick, and by the time he got it all set up, we would have power back. But if we, like, say it's the middle of winter and the power goes out, we can hook up the generator. But it's one of those, you have to plug it all in and then you have to start it and it runs on gas. So it's a little bit complicated. But if the power goes out at 7, I have a class at 9, I can definitely get power in that amount of time. And so make sure for internet, um, some people have an iPad with data plan, or you can do a phone with a hotspot. Now, Danny said that she could not get it hooked up to the iPad. Okay, so in order to hook up the hotspot to your iPad, you go to the settings. You have to turn on the hotspot on the phone. You go to settings on your iPad, and then you have to click Wi-Fi, and then you will choose, like mine says iPhone. And if you don't have the password put in, then you hook up that password, and then you only have to hook it up one time, and then after that you can hook it up again. But I know, Danny, you said you were outside when you used your phone, and so you do have to have good reception on your phone in order for the hotspot to work. It didn't show up. You could try turning off your iPad and turning it back on. You could also check in Bluetooth. Did you look up the Bluetooth setting? If you look up in Bluetooth, it might say Bluetooth and it might connect that way. Because I think that's how I used to do it. And then on this iPad, it was under Wi-Fi. So it might be underneath the Bluetooth. That's where, like, my keyboard is, my earphones are, stuff like that. So you could check there. So if your Wi-Fi works better outside on your phone with your hotspot, then you might have to take the iPad and your phone and teach outside or teach in your car. I've seen some people teach in their car and they have a really, like, a cardboard background, or I've saw some people with an umbrella, and on the inside they have like a decoration so that it looks like you're in a classroom. So you can do that as well. Here's, yeah, Amazon Basic Standby UPS. UPS. Okay. All right. Excellent. So, yeah, so you can do the hotspot if you have it on your phone. You cannot teach on your phone. You can teach on your iPad. There are a few classes that you can't do on your iPad, but for the most part, you can do most of them, just like the level 1, the IMC, those new level 1s you cannot do on the iPad, and a couple of the trials that are very interactive you can't do on your iPad. And they said there's like 2 or 3 level 8s that you can't do on your iPad. So, but other than that, you can do everything on your iPad. And if it worse comes to worse and you have only your iPad and you have one of those classes you can't technically do on your iPad, you can do the class and fake it. Like if there's, a song, just make up a song. If it's a trial or whatever it might be, just try to improvise so that you don't get a teacher no-show. Or you could just do the class and then you get a teacher IT, which is still better than a teacher no-show. So any other questions on the tech issues? But I'm telling you, I don't know why my computer froze today. Yesterday, I turned on my computer and I turned on the app and it was this really weird screen. And I didn't have time to figure it all out. I had to turn off my computer and turn it back on. So I had to use the iPad yesterday. A few days ago, I had a problem with my computer. It wouldn't advance the slides on the IMC course. And so I went to my iPad and I'm like, there's the arrow. It's on the iPad. So I pressed on the arrow, but when I went to that page on the iPad, I couldn't do the interactive slide. The song wouldn't play. And then so then I had to go back to my computer. So I went back and forth to my iPad to the computer like 3 times during that class. And the whole time I feel like a juggler because I'm like green, yellow, pink, while I'm doing this, doing that. I'm keeping the kid busy. It was pretty funny. Um, so Michelle, can you do an assessment on an iPad? How do you mark their score? You can mark their score by going into the portal, but you can't do it until 30 minutes afterwards. So you can't do it during the class. Like some people like to open their computer during class and assess the student right while you're teaching. That is not possible on the iPad. Like I think I have an assessment today to mark. So here's my portal on the iPad. This is on the app. And so I do have an assessment to grade today. It says UA empty. So I'm going to go to that. So I can do it just like I would on the computer. And I actually like it. And now this is my student that I lost the class at the end. And I promised him 5 stars. So I'm going to make sure I add the 5 stars in there because he was like on the last page. And you can go like this. You can look at the slides. And new thing is you can actually watch the playback now. And the playback is already ready. So you can watch the playback if you want to do the assessment by watching the playback. You can also do that on the iPad now. That's a new feature. I don't know when that came out. But originally I used to say you cannot watch playbacks on your iPad, but now you can. So you have to do it 30 minutes after the class. So if you want to go in and do it right away, you're going to have to wait 30 minutes for a UA. Yeah, so you can write it down and fill it in later. Usually what I'll do, especially when I was just starting, is I would write down if they made a mistake because most of the time they did everything fine and maybe made a few mistakes. So that's what I do. So that's that. I was going to advance the slide. I'm over here looking for the arrow. Okay, I am on YouTube on a video. Okay, so I also wanted to talk about outschool. Okay, it seems the new thing. People are doing outschool. A lot of VIPKID teachers are doing outschool. And maybe I'll make a whole new video on all the things that I have done for homeschooling. I have done a lot of things for homeschooling, and I think outschool looks cool. It's teacher Christina Garcia. She was interviewing with Casey yesterday, and she spilled the beans that she just applied for outschool, and then she just put out a video explaining the whole situation. She's going to stay with VIPKID, but she is also going to Teacher Kelly says, I don't rewatch if I'm not able to fill out an assessment. The kid is in luck. They get 100% no matter what. Oh, interesting. Sometimes I watch it just to, refresh my memory. But most of the time my kids do fine, but every now and then there's a few that I might have to. But that kid did fine and he'll get 100%. But yeah, I want to make sure he gets the 5 stars. That's a big thing. So outschool. So what you do for outschool is you are going to create your own curriculum and you are going to teach your own classes. And then I don't really know how it all works for booking and stuff, but I thought it might be interesting as a parent to check into it. I don't know how much the classes cost. But the other thing to consider if you want to do outschool is that some people might not realize how many resources there are already out there for parents. And I know in our state in New Hampshire, we have a place called Virtual Learning Academy. We can't really choose the teacher, but we can choose the subject and the kids can do it all, and it's paid for by the state. So my kid is the type that normally gets 100%. So it's all Virtual Learning Academy is paid for by the state. They also offer, well, they did offer college classes up until August 1st. So my daughter, who's a junior right now, she's actually finishing up her high school right now. She's just doing all of her classes and she's teaching, and I really like it, and I have to pay for it. Am I going to um, do that, or am I going to just stick with the free program? So yes, luckily, okay. I don't know how this is going. It says unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. So anyway, so I just wanted to share that information because number one, I'm not really interested in making my own curriculum right now. I'm sure some teachers would love that, and it sounds really awesome. And number two, I don't really want to search for students. I don't want to sit there waiting for people and not be able to get paid. But on the other hand, I am glad that a lot of the VIPKID teachers who are amazing and talented are going to try to use that within our own country. I love that. So I think that our students deserve the great teachers that you guys are. So I think there's a lot of good to it, but I don't think I'm going to try to teach from it, but I will be interested, like as a parent, to see what they offer, see how much it is, see how it goes. I'll be watching to see how the teachers like it. And it is sounds really cool. But my thing is, are parents going to pay for it? So I know this has gone long, but I just wanted to spend a couple minutes saying, if you are a parent and you are stuck quarantining, you are stuck teaching your own kids, I just want to challenge you to do the best you can. Like, this is not homeschooling right now, okay? We are doing the best we can, but nobody can tell us that this is homeschooling because we are under a lot of stress. Um, Parents are losing jobs, families are losing incomes. We don't know how we're going to pay our bills. We're scared of a disease that's going around. We don't know what politicians are really doing. We're in a very difficult situation. So this is not really typical of a homeschool world. I mean, normally homeschooling is difficult, but this adds a whole new dimension to it. But the other hand is, I hope after all this is over, that parents don't throw their kids at the public school and say, here, take my kids. I can't stand them. They're driving me crazy, because the government isn't supposed to be taking care of our kids. We are supposed to be taking care of our kids, and we are supposed to be hiring our, you know, educational professionals. The schools are supposed to be here for the families. We are supposed to be spearheading our kids' education. Even if we send them to school, we are supposed to be the ones in charge. That's the way our country was founded. That's the way schools were supposed to be. So keep that in mind. Like, don't get desperate and say, yeah, government, you can do whatever you want with my kids. We need to realize we are the parents. We are taking care of our kids right now. We are doing the best we can. It's hard. We don't know all the subjects they need to know, but that's okay. And just don't trust anyone else until you know that's who you choose to train your children. That's why I've taught at a Christian school, because I want to have control over what my kids learn, until it's taken from us. I want the freedom I believe in the Christian principles and values that they are being taught at the school. Now, it's not all what I want it to be necessarily. I'm not the boss, but keep that in mind, that we are the parents. We are in charge of our children. Nobody should be able to tell us how to educate our kids, what to teach our kids, and nobody should be able to tell us that we have to do this with our kids or that. That is the end of our freedom from America. That's not how America was intended and founded to be. So keep that in mind. Just give yourself a break that this is not homeschooling, and this is not the way homeschooling is necessarily, because normally when you homeschool, you're doing it because you believe in it and you want to do it, and you don't necessarily have a virus that you're, you know, threatened by every single day. Like when I homeschooled, I would go on hikes, we would go to the park, we would visit our friends, we would go to, McDonald's play place. We didn't just stay home all day. And so this is lockdown. This is not hard. This is not easy for anyone. I mean, this is hard. This is not easy for anyone. This is not typical of homeschooling. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Take care of your kids, do the best you can, and remain the parent, remain in control of your children. And don't let anyone say you have to do this or you have to do that, because we are the parents, we are supposed to choose. Now, with Virtual Learning Academy, I can choose what my kids would study, but it is not necessarily a Christian curriculum. So that's why a lot of homeschool Christian parents will choose other curriculums. So for Virtual Learning Academy, I might choose like Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 or geometry or something like that. But maybe for history, I would choose another curriculum that would have more of what I value as history content. And so that's how I think, and how I believe that Americans should think as well. So, anyway, thank you guys for listening and for coming to my chat here. And I see Evelyn has gone on to start her own little live, which is up in my corner. I am going to go get something to eat, and I am starving. I haven't eaten yet today. I have drunk my coffee, a little bit of coffee. I have a lot more to go, and I still have some feedback to do. So thank you guys for coming. And just remember, do the next thing, and I will be praying for you guys. And oh, in the news, one more thing. In the news, did you find out that Siegfried and Roy has passed away? And that was a really cool. I went back to refresh my memory on their whole thing. They're the ones that had the act with the tigers and everything. And that is a really cool thing to go look back at their program that they had with the tigers and what they used to do for an act and everything. And that was really popular. And that was in the news. I saw that in the news last night. I guess he did contract COVID, but he also had some other pre-existing conditions. So it wasn't like he was a healthy person and then got COVID, but I guess he did contract COVID, and that was what he finally died from. But so that might be something interesting you could do today, is go back in history and see some of their stuff, which is on, I guess they did an act in 2019 to come back and say goodbye to all the fans and everything. So that's kind of cool. So you can go back and check that out, and I might go back and check it out and show my kids too, because that's kind of a historical thing. All right, so have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. Thank you for coming.